Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Beyond the Summit presentation, bringing you guys a game from the WePlay.tv Cup here. It's the Group Stage D in Phase 2. We're going to be seeing who's going to be moving into the winners or the losers in this next match here. We see Team Liquid going up against Keita Gaming. This is a best-of-3 series going on into Game 2 as Liquid just took Game 1 away. There wasn't really too much hope. Once that Queen of Pain had died the 5th time, I really think that there was just too much control. In general, of course, getting so many solo kills, especially on Korok, was something that is really hard to overcome. It's just insurmountable the way that he was able to build up and just stomp away. So it wasn't really a close game necessarily, but it was interesting to watch at least. We got a couple of laser light shows coming on through, but nevertheless, yeah, we'll see if Keita actually has some cool strategies up their sleeve to counteract, because yeah, it's very demoralizing to take a loss like that, and going into this next one, their heads are in the right place.
Right. If you're Keita, I think you have to evaluate what worked about that game, what didn't. Let's talk about what didn't work first. Mid. Mid was a disaster for them. They lost mid even before any Liquid supports came in to do anything. And you just repeatedly had Saizo lose, and they have to sort of think, at this point with no ego, you have to think, are we going to win this mid 1v1, especially if they pool onto Korok again? If we don't, what are we going to do about this? There's a couple of things you could do. You can ban Korok heroes more aggressively, especially in the second phase, and hope that Liquid doesn't draft something for him in the first phase. You can go with a non-traditional mid, like you can do a 2-2-1 lineup where you actually put 2 heroes mid and ensure that you can at least keep Korok down, even if you don't dominate the lane. You can take a support pair that are going to be very effective at roaming and actually picking off whatever hero Korok ends up picking up. Whether that's something like a dual Sven with something, Shadow Demon Leshrac, what have you. Prioritize something that you know you'll be able to pick off Korok with. So that's what didn't work. What did work, Maglev was able to get XP and farm very easily, including when he had the lane all to himself. I think you can once again just give him a solid hero, put him in a lane, and just ensure that Maglev is able to get farm. That worked well, and he tracked TC's farm. Like, he wasn't behind TC at all until TC started killing everybody by being inside of Korok and getting all those kills. So don't focus on that. Focus on shoring up the difficulties that you had, which were the solo lane, other than the First Blood, getting supports to get kills, and mid. If they don't solve the mid problem, the same thing is going to happen Game 2.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's going to be very problematic for them trying to actually come back from this kind of position. So mid problem. The one thing that's really difficult though is that Liquid generally doesn't draft Korok until 4th or 5th. They generally save their solo mid until one of the last things. You were talking about a certain roaming composition that might work very effectively, but if you give them a certain hero that can avoid that, and then it's going to be kind of completely nullified, and the roaming won't be nearly as effective. So you have to kind of make sure you find a lockdown combo that will work no matter what, and try to find those openings, find those opportunities. The Shadow Demon is a great start for that, because there are so many different heroes you can couple with that hero to actually make things happen, whether it's like a Light Strike Array or a Split Earth for Melina or a Leshrac, but those were banned out last time around. Another unorthodox things, if you're talking about dual mid, 2 versus 1, have seen a little bit of this, not as competitively, but it's still possible to see like a Kunkka Shadow Demon lane, where you're getting a lot of farm on a secondary damage dealer, but you're also combining a lot of kill potential to shut down the mid.
We see it competitively. Qpad does it.
Yeah, they've done it a couple times there, and it's not. I'm not saying that it's not competitive. It's just not as. It's definitely not considered common competitively.
Sure. I mean, the thing for Keita is, I actually think they can do sort of a roaming, because of course Keeper the Light, not known for his ability to sort of counter roam, and he really has to just sort of sit in a lane and win the lane that he's in. Bane, of course, a very strong pick, good against Lifestealer. I still feel like I really like Liquid's lineup here. Interesting that they went with the Weaver rather than something like Phantom Lancer, but these days I feel like PL losing some popularity. He is a little slow to build up. There's counter arguments that people can make, like actually in this case the Darkseer, that is rarely banned out in the first phase these days, but always an option. Liquid, by the way, taking out Saizo's Queen of Pain, so I do think this gives an opportunity for Keita to make some bans. Just ban out something like the Puck. Take out, the other thing I would take out is Liquid could still go with TC on the offlane Weaver, or rather anybody on the offlane Weaver, and then the Phantom Lancer, so they might want to take that out as well. But I think the puck ban would just be very, very useful. That or like have a plan to deal with it.
Yeah, the Weaver definitely doesn't have to be a number one in the situation. We've seen off-lane Weaver come out a lot for the North American Dota scene in general. Specifically, Dignitas runs it all the time. Like Universe, if you see Weaver for Dignitas, you're expecting Universe to take that on the off-lane. But it's possible running the try versus try if push comes to shove. But right now, I think it's appropriate that they're banning out these other more dynamic heroes. The Nature's Prophet for Bulba, the Korok Puck, of course. I mean, if you weren't blind that previous game and you saw exactly what was going on, you can't not ban out the Puck after a stomp like that.
Right, and I think Liquid, maybe they'll go with something different, but I would love the Leshrac ban from them here again to just take out those the two best pairs with Shadow Demon and really deflect the ability of Keita to actually be able to get that pairing going. I actually don't know. I would have considered drafting the Leshrac third here for Keita just because the support pair would be so strong and intimidating to actually get kills. It's hard to argue against taking Darkseer, but it'll give them a very good solo lane. So like I said, it'll sort of shore up that solo. But again, they have no access to the two best support pairings with Shadow Demon.
No, I mean, I think the Darkseer is really strong. They had a lot of issues. We talked about the mid lane so darn much, but the only reason the off lane wasn't the one struggling hardcore was because they rotated away from it. If they had stuck to that off lane, the Magnus would have found very, very little in that whole situation there. So I think finding more survivable, a more escapable off lane hero like the Darkseer is actually going to be very good. If they strengthen their off lane, they can lend more aid to their mid lane and start just kind of getting a little bit more movement across the map as a whole. I really think that they're going to be in a better position as a result of that.
Right. No, I'm intrigued to see how Liquid finish this out. I feel like I like that they've banned out a bunch of Bulba heroes, but I still feel like PL is... Maybe Liquid won't take it out of an honor thing, like on the honor system.
No, the Phantom Lancer? Yeah, I mean, they don't... It's not... I honestly don't think they need it. Like, in this situation, they're up against a Shadow Demon and a Darkseer.
It's not a matter of need.
Again, they're up against a Shadow Demon and a Darkseer, the Disruption, the Wall Replica. It's annoying to deal with, and Lifestealer has shown his potential to take him to the late game if you see either Mjolnir or a Battlefear in the Lifestealer.
I like this brew. This is an interesting choice for Korok in the mid. You're right. They still have options like the Gyro is the thing. With no Gyro ban, if Keita don't lock it up, Gyro doesn't care about Darkseer at all. And in fact, there were statistics coming out of the DreamHack Invitational that Darkseer had like a 1-8 or something, or like 0-7 against Gyro, just because he's the least caring about Wall of Replica carry hero there is. No flak cannon, not a hero that typically builds any stat items except maybe Butterfly. Like, that Wall of Replica, Gyro just doesn't do very much. So they would put Bulba on the Weaver for offlane, Gyro, or really any carry. They could even do... Christ, they could even do Anti-Mage if they really wanted.
Yeah, a lot of different options. But I'm liking this solid hardcore disable setup. If you can't get the Leshrac and the Lina, you might as well follow up with a very solid, stable, guaranteed stun, and that's going to be the Earth Spike here from Lion. So you disrupt, you Earth Spike, and then of course you have open wounds if it's a tri-lane scenario, or the follow-up from whatever their mid hero is going to be in that situation. As far as going up against this Brewmaster, you've already just kind of been so shaken by Korok's Puck. Now you see his Brewmaster coming out. What do you pick up against the Brewmaster to really shut him down? In my opinion, his two great weaknesses are mobility and mana. Do you pick a hero to exploit that, or you just go for like a Templar Assassin to dodge out the collapse? What are they looking for here?
I like silences against Brewmaster. They could go for something like a Templar Assassin just to win the mid against him. There's several options they could still go for. I don't know. I think TA looks pretty good, actually, given what's going on here. Weaver, of course, in the long run is going to kind of go to town on that Templar Assassin, but the early to mid game is fine. They can also go for something weirder. They could go for Silencer for the mid. They could go with a Bulba-style Disruptor. They won't. I'm literally just spitballing here, but that is something Bulba has used in the mid against Brewmaster, and it's worked very, very well. I just wanted to make a tracking note, but there's no chance that Keita go for that. I've looked at some of their previous games. These guys like these more traditional standard lineups. I don't think we'll see anything wilder than really a TA, but we'll see.
Yeah,
Or
I mean,
Night Stalker isn't the worst plan
Night Stalker
either.
would be pretty solid in my opinion. While we're throwing stuff out there, I'll mention that Liquid has a pretty bad track record against Death Prophet. They don't really know as far as focusing, prioritizing. There's just so many things in the mix. So you can imagine a really good wall replica vacuum, and then you get a super amazing silencer W coming on out, just
Sure.
locking down on top of that, and
Right.
the damage comes forth. I don't expect it, but you know, it'd be
No.
interesting to see.
I mean, I actually, the more I think about Night Stalker, the more I like him, but will they go for Kunkka?
Oh.
They do go with the Kunkka.
There we go.
Okay. So,
Okay.
like I was talking about, if they run
2-1.
that dual mid, that's not bad by
Yeah.
any means, and that'll give them some good tools against Bulba on the Brewmaster.
Yeah, they switched it up. Bulba's going to be on the Brewmaster. That means TC
That might
is on the
swap.
Weaver. That leaves Korok on the Shadow Fiend. This is just flexibility of Liquid. They're ones,
Right.
twos, and threes. They're like, whoever wants it. Just throw it on out there. And they have a lot of different options here. But, yeah, it'll be interesting.
Bulba mid. There's no way they put Korok mid. That would be the worst idea in the history of ideas.
Yeah, I mean, right now, it's going to be a 2-2-1 from Keita. We're going to see Shadow Demon Kunkka on the mid. Ciso picking up the Kunkka here. We're going to see Maglev and the Lion, the Lifestone Lion, going up on that top lane, safe lane, and then Darkseer, Floxplox down on that Suicide Solo. In that position there, how does Liquid respond? They know that's going to happen. They have these interesting heroes, Weaver, Brewmaster, Shadow Fiend. All of them want some farm, either gold or experience. Where would you put these three heroes?
On Liquid side?
Yeah.
I honestly think they should just go completely standard. Just go Shadow Fiend, Bane, Keeper of the Light safe, and just run Brew mid and Weaver solo.
Okay.
I think Brew mid might actually not be that bad.
It won't be great. I mean, nothing's
It won't
great
be
against
great.
the Shadow Demon Kunkka combo.
The thing
but-
is, once Shadow Fiend gets a couple levels, he should be okay. He'll be perfectly fine against Darkseer. He's not going to be in any danger. And they obviously can't run Maglev and Frigolite up against that tri-lane. They'll get dominated.
Yeah.
They'll get beyond dominated. It'll be awful. So
Yeah.
those guys are going to be safe lane, and you know Korok's going to have a pretty safe lane. So after a bit, you can rotate Fluff and stuff on even like a semi-permanent basis to the mid just to shore up Bulba's lane.
I really think that Keita wanted the Phantom Lancer to come out. This is pretty much a perfect counter draft against a Phantom Lancer if you think about it. The Kunkka adding on top of the fact that they have the Darkseer Shadow Demon, they can just shred through those illusions so quickly with a really good built-up Kunkka, a quick burst from his Tidebringer, and suddenly they don't have to worry about those illusions whatsoever. So I honestly think they were kind of hoping that would be like the fifth pick coming on out. But Korok picking up this Shadow Fiend, I think that'll have a lot of potential. It's not like he has a Magnus or a Darkseer to back him up, but nevertheless, the raw right-click damage is certainly going to be there, and Korok's one of those individuals that can take a hero with good farming tools and just put them
Yeah.
to work very, very quickly.
I gotta say, I feel like the Shadow Fiend is a little bit plucky. Like, what's the huge advantage of
Nothing.
taking SF here over something like Gyro? I really don't know. I feel like it's just like, hey, we like having SF.
Yeah.
Sort of a Loda-esque, like, windmill slam the Shadow Fiend button. Like, might as well just take it in this game.
Yeah, in this situation, I don't think it works with the team particularly amazingly. I mean, Fluff's Fiend's Grip, or maybe even the Nightmare, will set up some great double and triple raises. But beyond that, yeah, they're in an okay position. It's not going to be that big of a deal. We actually see some
Well,
interesting
they're going to go
rotation.
for First Blood, first off.
Yeah, of course.
But I'm starting to think what you can do. I don't know. If they're not worried about Korok, they of course don't have to do the two mid. They could put somebody mid, somebody solo safe, and try to do try versus try. Shadow Demon Lion Kunkka is kind of no joke as a tri lane. I'm not sure it even loses to the tri lane, to the other tri lane. So
I mean, it's
that's
Keeper of Light
an
tri
option.
lane. It's all about, then there would be
Yeah.
all about Ix Mike's positioning.
I agree, but if they pick off IX Mike, if they pressure him a lot, if you're stuck on level 1 Illuminate for a while, Blaze, that Keeper of the Light becomes less and less relevant in that lane.
So they're trying
I
to
don't know,
safe lane
it's
solo
interesting.
Korok, and in this position, with the aggressive ward, we know that they're going to be putting some pressure down here, more so than what the Darkseer would be. So I think Korok's going to have a rough time and be forced to rotate early.
Well, it all depends on how they actually end up laning this. So Darkseer, it's tough to say from just what their items are built, because these are all fairly standard loadouts.
Shadow
But it
Demon
does
Kunkka
look
bot.
Yeah. Huh. And that leaves... I don't know. I don't like... I almost would like to see them mid or a tri-lane. I don't like this 2-2-1. I hope it's not that.
I'm actually fine with 2-2-1, as if Floxbox goes for safe lane solo and Freely moves back towards the mid, I think they have actually very secure lanes. They easily have a Shadow Demon Kunga over Shadow Fiend. Will easily win that matchup there, and then Lion Lifestealer isn't going to have too many issues. The fluff with that Invis might change the pace of that there pretty quickly. I don't know.
I don't think they can kill Maglev. That seems an unreasonable expectation, but he's going to come at least bottom. I don't know, Blaze. This is starting to get really weird.
Yeah.
We do see Fluff moving slowly towards that bottom lane. He's going to run out of Invis, though, pretty soonish. He's about halfway through it right now. So either they can kill Maglev here. Actually, he took Feast, so this might
he's so
change
screwed.
it.
With the Keeper Light charging here, he's so screwed.
No.
The clap will come, and he's just obliterated. No skills to get away from
man.
this. The right clicks come, and that's going to be first blood.
That first level Feast. Oh, man.
They're like, oh, he has green shiny stuff above his head. Kill him.
Yeah, exactly. The moment they saw that he was gaining life, they just immediately rotate the Bane back. And the problem for Keita is, what lane are they really going to win? This 2v1 isn't going to beat TC. In fact, he could kill Frigolite if he wanted. I think
in this
he will.
position, no. The Shikuchi is a pretty long cooldown when it's only rank 1. So in that position, he's going to be able to fall back and salve, but he's not going to be finding a kill. Down on bottom, we do see big damage coming out. Korok low, Ike's Mike low, but they actually get the kill first, bring down Shadow Demon, but they do lose that, and they actually get the Tidebringer on both of them here. Korok looking to just juke around, make sure that he is kiting outside of his attack range and then bring him down. But in the end result is that Kunga kills the Keeper of Light, Shadow Fiend kills that Shadow Demon. So 1-for-1 in that regard.
Right. I still don't know. This is, Liquid are now rotating IX Mike bot. And after, he already came bot. I don't think that there's any way Keita wins this 2v3. They sort of traded there, but it was a kill on Korok, kill on Sasso, it's fine. Once Liquid start managing this lane, which they'll be able to do because Keita hasn't blocked any of the spawns, you end up with a situation where Bulba's going to be just fine mid. TC has very good farm top, frankly. This Weaver is acting as if he was in like a 1v1 lane.
Yeah.
And so you just don't win anywhere. Korok in a bit of trouble here, but there's nobody to take advantage of this. Again, because it's not a tri-lane. If Lion was here, Korok would be dead.
Very true, very true. Yeah, that's how it works, especially with Weaver, as you mentioned. He's taking it like a 1v1 because they don't have detection.
Oh, man. Saizo is screwed, man.
Yeah, bad spot for him. Big Illuminates, but actually they don't have more lockdown. The Brain Sap, there's no mana for it, so they're actually barely going to get it. Nice right click, nice E-raise. Going to be able to finish it off there, but it is close. Without the continuous disables, they pretty much have to go based on skill, 100%, and there is a lot of room for error in those kind of engages.
There is, but Korok is he's played quite a bit of Shadow Fiend, actually. Part of the reason why it's why he sort of windmill slammed this hero is because he knows how to aim those raises, Blaze. Like, he's not going to miss those unless he messes up, so... Honestly, I don't know. The nice thing about 2-1-2 in theory is that your two supports get faster farm, and it's good for Lion and Shadow Demon to get farm. It's not like... You're not going to lose if they stay at low levels. We're not talking about something like Io here or Dazzle, but... I'm just not sure the trade-off here of losing all the lanes, essentially, is worth it.
Exactly. Because this pull is going on through and Fluff can take advantage of that, right now Cizo and Stefsal are not going to be able to find dedicated experience, which nullifies the idea of getting levels on the supports. And in general, this dual lane was brilliant until the supports came in. When it was a solo Korok, it's like, oh yes, we have the best opportunity to screw over the Shadow Fiend, keep his Necro Mastery charges low, and really limit his momentum potential. But now, there are supports, it is a defensive trial lane, and it's not something they're prepared to deal with.
Right. I don't know. I always like bold decisions, even if they're maybe not the smartest. So I like that Keita tried to change things up this time. And once they sort of saw that Korok wasn't going mid, I think that solidified their decision to not overly pressure mid. But Bulba's a good Brewmaster player. Like, he will be a big force in this game, and they've sort of given up on the idea that they're just going to dominate mid in exchange of trying to win bot, which they
Double damage
done.
popped on Bulba, but he does get disrupted here. Will they follow up? Only rank 1 open wounds, and they're not going to go on it. They are just Stuff Style coming down, and he's like, let's go. Oh, wait, you're just a level 5 lifesteal up against a double damage Brew. Oh, my gosh. Too much damage. Just it's ridiculous what he can kind of output in that time frame. With 142 damage output on average, he can just walk up and pretty much do whatever he wants. I mean, Lifesteal does get Infest off, so he will bring himself back up to full, but there's no threat for Bulba in this situation.
None whatsoever, and this is just a result of how Keita arranged their lanes. Now, Saizo, he's getting fine levels. I mean, he's pretty much keeping pace with Korok. But as far as last hits go, he is pretty much equal. He's coming top, so they're going to try to kill TC. Is it already too late, though?
They have a sentry on Frigolite. I think, oh, well, actually, time-lapse, you're right. It might be too late. They don't have a Finger of Death or anything to lock him down hard, and not even connecting with that Earth Spike. Sisu, honestly, I think they're just going for a full lane swap, and they tried to take a temporary advantage of positioning to go for that kill. Either way, we do see Illuminate charging up, gonna whiff, though, and instead, Axmite gonna take a lot of tower hits. Floxbox wants to go for it. This could be a big mistake. Nightmare comes on through. Fluff will lock him in place here, and now they do have a stronger lane down on bottom because Ciso decided to bring the Kunkka up top, which is much better decision in my opinion. But still, they're always going to be at a disadvantage because of the fact that they're not going to be able to bring down the Weaver, and they're up against a tri-lane down on the bottom.
Yeah, they just seem a little adrift to me, Blaze. I would have liked to see at least more like dedicated lanes instead of this just sort of like, well, we'll do whatever works. I did like that the Darkseer left. I think Saizo only came to try to pick up that kill on Weaver, but they're fine with this overall. It's going to be a little less bleak with the Darkseer. He is level 6, so he's going to have no problem surviving this lane, which is good. The problem is, at this point, Saizo needs to play catch-up. They need this Kunkka to do more than he has been so far.
Yeah, I don't think the rotation was for a kill. I honestly think that the kill was a secondary benefit they thought could happen, but they really just wanted to get a dedicated farm on Kunkka.
Sure.
Bulba actually could have gotten disrupted there, in my opinion. Like, he used his clap, he doesn't have mana for a split, and as such, they actually could have gone in that position, but...
No mana to generate the microbrews is serious business. I mean, you want to always have that sort of escape valve, but he's going to go back and actually get the mana, so...
Going on in TC, dueling it out real quick with the Swarm active on Frigolite. Here comes Fluff. The Brain Sap will be able to finish one off, or just a right-click here, and they're actually Brain Sap Cizo, but he does have the Kunkka's Rum buff, so that he's going to take half damage right here. Dueling out with Fluff. He won't be able to kill him, because it just takes too darn long and he just can't connect. But there is the Shadow Demon involved as well. Ciso finally drops. The disruption coming out, but Weaver could care less. TC going on in. He's probably going to get another kill here. Just goes in right in front of him. There's the Gemnate. Needs 2 more right clicks or 1 more Kuchi on top of that. And there we go. So right there, Soulcatcher will hurt quite a bit, but they get the kills and they're happy to walk away.
It's brutal, Blaze. Absolutely brutal fight for Keita. They lose 3 and get nothing. I really thought they would get something, actually, but still. Floxbox doing a bit of creep cutting, just trying to make this lane at least a little bit harder for Korok, but Korok has no problem. We see, so Maglev again, even with the early death, he's gotten his farm. He's like the good spot for them here, but unfortunately, then you have 3 liquid heroes, and they're all developing pretty quickly, all 3 of these core heroes.
Yeah, exactly. They do force out a Fortify. They're a big creep wave coming up on that top lane there, but it's not doing too much to actually give them a permanent advantage here. And I guess I could have been a little bit more excited about the engagement, but it really is just like signature TC and signature Weaver play. I mean, they have so much utility, they can just jump on into it. It was guaranteed. Like, as soon as you saw the HP bars, there was just great opportunities. They was pretty much just standard stuff, but actually big damage onto Bulba. He gets the primal split off, though, turning it around, going on in. Need to actually activate the Windwalk on that Wind Spirit if they're going to be able to get the disables off they intend. Now just doing big right-click damage. Style will get stunned, will drop down. There's the Fiend's Grip going right on top of Fluff. Oh my gosh, the boat does connect, but Ciso's still going to take too much damage. Bulba, low life, cannot go further. So he will fall back from here, and Ciso does live, pulling himself out of the Fiend's Grip in the end. Floxbox trying to make one more thing out of it. Fluff with the Nightmare, though. Allows them to walk away. Invis Rune to be bottled if Bulba would just head up that direction, but doesn't want to chance it, instead just walks away.
Dude, Fluff is doing work this game on this Bane. He's been part of every kill but one. 105. No deaths. He's actually going to get the power tread, so just a little bit more survivability on that Bane than you usually see. And meanwhile, TC, you can see at this point, Lifestealer is not going to beat this
might be pretty good for them, actually. Already wasted the time-lapse. They get the Hex off. He does have Shikuchi, but the damage almost is there. The Infest almost did it, but no. Just barely surviving enough with that Magic Wand, and then, of course, Shikuchi is on the way, TPing back to safety. And, yeah.
That would have been a good kill for Keita. And they get close. They were close to killing Brewmaster. They did pretty well against Bulba, but it just got the ultimate off. They did pretty well against TC. He actually did kind of waste the time lapse early, but he still gets away. And one of these things has to go well for them, right? Otherwise, they're just going to be cursing the Dota gods tonight.
Yeah, it's not a good series for them so far, and of course they are struggling behind right now. As far as the gold graph indicates, we're looking at almost a 3,000 gold advantage for Liquid and 2,000 for experience. So when we look at how that translates to levels, we see that although Maglev, as we said, is doing pretty well, sitting at level 9, being almost entirely solo throughout the first 10 minutes of the game, we also see that there are 3 level 8s. There's a Weaver, a Shadow Fiend, and the Brewmaster. All 3 very core, very dangerous, and now smoking on up with a Blink Dagger available. Maglev is in a terrible place. Fiend's Grip, oh, no, there we go. Waiting for the Rage, popping off the Fiend's Grip, and there's the right clicks to follow it up. There's nothing for him to do here. He doesn't even have mana to accomplish anything.
Brutal. Good gank from Liquid, and taking care of the only problem that they have. Again,
exactly.
Liquid, even though they probably knew going into this game that they were severe favorites, what I've liked has just been the crisp and good strategic play that they've exhibited. They've always done the right thing. Actually, Korok in trouble bottom.
Really? Yeah, catching him out there. Shadow Fiend has no escape mechanism, so catching him out in that disruption into the Torrent will be able to bring him down quickly, even without the Shadow Demon ultimate. So very powerful.
Good response. That was a good response from Keita. But what I was saying about Liquid is that, again, they're problem solving. They know that they won the lanes, and now the question is, what do we do about Lifestealer? Because he's the only person that's doing very, very well on Keita. And they immediately go to address that. In the first game, they were like, if we win mid, we'll win this game. So they pool on Korok, he plays aggressively, secures the lane, and then they move on to dominating the tri-lane. Just always moving to the right decisions at the right times. And when you're playing against a team that's already the favorites and they're making so few mistakes, it's tough.
Yeah. Last game I considered the Queen of Pain to be the #1 kill priority. Now I definitely feel Lifestealer has fit that bill. I mean, he has a lot of escape mechanisms, so it's not as easy, but if they can accomplish it, it's going to benefit them extremely in shutting down the momentum. And now Bulba is invisible, so Floxbox should be locked down here. Here comes the Surge, the Clap to follow, and that Surge will expire. The Clap still providing some movement speed slow, and with the Swarm providing vision, they're in a great spot to just finish this out, right? Going on through, the big Illuminate going across, they're actually going to be able to take this tier 2.
They took Korok down again, by the way, but that was... Speaking of not making mistakes, Korok coming back to that bottom lane qualifies as a mistake. But it's okay, because Liquid are going to trade a tower and a kill for 1, but I don't know what Korok thought he was doing there.
Yeah, that's not safe ground. That's kind of the danger zone there for Korok in that position. He felt really safe when the tri-lane supports were there, but they've been out of the mix for quite some time. Ixmike getting open wounds up, actually going to go for a Blinding Light as soon as Rage expires, but the Infest occurs too swiftly here. Frigalite. Oh, nice Torrent coming on TC. He doesn't have anything more but one more Shiguchi. There comes a stun from that Primal Split Panda. Got to get one more right click on the Lion to get on out of there. Tries to wind walk away. Does disjoint the tower auto attack, and now Maglev getting ultied up. There's a Torrent though, and the vacuum locking him down. Fluff is gonna get fried, and here Bulba on low life should be cleaned up as well. So Keita finally picking up some kills for themselves.
This is nice, actually. Good rotation. This is the first fight you could even vaguely say that they won. And with the pickoff on Korok, this actually, Liquid has to... They gotta be a little more careful. I don't know why they did that when I just praised them for not making mistakes, but that wasn't overextension. They stayed in too long. The Fiend's Grip on Lifestealer, kind of after already a couple people were dead, committing them even further to it. I don't know. Those were kind of mistakes coming from them. The first mistakes of the game, I would say.
Yeah, precisely that. And Korok playing a little bit of misplay down on bottom, but I mean that's a situation where it's very hard to judge. Actually, open ones will come on Korok. That's going to be really bad. That was an unset up Torrent going on in. They're going to pull him back with the X marks the spot and showing their confidence with this hero. They set it up beautifully. Finger of Death coming out on top of the Keeper Light. He's going to die. No, the timing wasn't right. Steph Style going to drop instead. So that was actually pretty good for Liquid. No, they get the Demonic Purge on him, so he still gets dropped down in the end. But Shadow Demon did take a fall himself. So it was 2 for 2 in the end, but they got the carry kill, going for more with this Surge. And they're going to be actually able to make something happen here. The Enfeeble comes on out, though. It's going to be difficult. The Torrent locking him in, and they will be able to finish it off again. CISO really on the mark with these.
Yeah! Good for Keita, honestly. Punish Team Liquid for deciding to play Shadow Fiend and then just running him into danger all the time. I don't know. The Swedes suddenly not looking like limp noodles after all. TC though, and Bulba had a great play in that, by the way. He had the perfect thunderclap. He hit basically everybody. TC might try to do a bit of cleanup here.
He should be able to kill CISO. No, I think he can kill CISO. At this point, the Gemini attack, the right clicks, one more is all he needs, but he doesn't get in time. The mechanism for Frigalite, or somebody, they get the mechanism from the Darkseer, they get the disables from the Lion, and they lock down TC. And yes, as you're saying, that was just too far.
Really overconfident play from TL. I mean, they don't have to win this. They can win in the game 3 if they feel confident, but they just pissed away a lot of their lead.
Yeah, it's true, it's true. But the tier 1 tower does get denied by Korok. He has a lot of right-click damage despite losing half his Necromaster. Here comes Maglev, though. Surged on through. Open wounds going across. He has the Infest on the creep right behind him. And there with that vacuum, he gets the kill. Looking for more. They don't get a Torrent on anything, but Bulba in a bad spot without that ultimate. They could actually go on him hardcore right here. He does pop off a Magic Wand. And yeah, Maglev is going to be able to just sock it to him. A nice Nightmare coming out because there was no Rage in that stage. They really can't follow up and clean up on anything. Actually, quite the contrary. Frigalite in a pretty rough spot now. He's losing armor continuously, but he does get surged away.
I don't know. Keita are taking these team fights. They're executing vastly better in team fights all of a sudden. In the 5v5, the turrets are on point. Every surge has been smart. Frigalite transferring the Nightmare onto himself. Liquid are looking really sloppy in these engagements.
Comparatively speaking, yeah. But I think
Korok had like 1 death a few minutes ago, and now he's got 4, Blaze.
Yeah, it's a really big deal. In this position, well, I mean, one big deal is the fact that Darkseer has really come into play. Now, Floxbox has been pretty much solo this entire time, or duo at best, but now he suddenly finds his mechanism. He does have a point in wall, but more importantly, that rank 4 vacuum, and suddenly he's been actually participating in full. So he's been getting great surges, great mechanisms, saved 2 teammates in the past like 2 minutes. And on top of that, setting up some great vacuums and Ion Shell damage as well.
Floxbox has been fantastic, and the surges. Just everything he's doing is really on point. Completely saving Kunkka there in that last engagement. Saving Lion with the surge, saving Kunkka with the mechanism. They've just been doing everything. Now, Saizo still doesn't have much of the way of items, but we see him moving towards that Shadow Blade. He's a 700 off.
Yeah, something like that. So and they're going to be able to farm up these Ancients pretty effectively, too.
Definitely. Him and Maglev, Maglev sitting on 1500 now. Keita is actually, at this point, Blaze, they're ahead on XP. Like, their levels are actually looking better. Farm's still not quite there, but Fluff and Bulba, they're smoked. Oh man, a smoke from the other side. But I think
too many wards. Yeah, there's way too many observer wards. They would easily have seen exactly what's going on in that position there. So yeah, I mean, Liquid knows, and so this smoke won't probably make anything happen. The question being, is this going to devolve into something? Yeah, Foxbox should die here. The Surge will come out, but not in time. TC will get enough right clicks.
Yes, mech.
Oh, the mech does come out, so he will survive. I'm completely wrong about that. The Swarm ticks away, but the last right click not going to come on through in time. He's going for it. He needs the time lapse now. Time lapse. Oh, he can't get it. Oh, that was so close. But anyways, on bottom, big initiation here. Maglev already popped off the Rage. The Primal Split is up and kicking. They get the Tornado off on the lifesteal. They're now going on Kunkka. Another Fiend's Grip coming on out to lock him down. Finishing him off, they switch on over to Maglev. No Rage just yet. They need to get the Earth Pain to stun, but instead, he's going and chewing away at IX Mike. Nice Nightmare, though. He still falls in the end. Frigalite does drop down in turn, though. Now infested inside a creep. There is a little Lifestealer who really doesn't want to actually have to come out and play. So he's going to hang out there for a little while, but inevitably, he's going to have to burst out, and I don't think he can get out. No TP scroll especially. No chance at all.
He's gonna be so mad. Actually, the Shadow Demon Shadow Poison was what ticked the creep into deny range.
No, we see. Holy crap! Finding out Steph style there. Really, really good movement. I guess it isn't a juke point, so it's not that big a deal. But nevertheless, good reflexes, making sure they don't let him just scroll on away.
Not having the Darkseer was what changed there. TC just TPs over because they're closer to their tier 2, and Keita are very far from their tier 2, and it becomes a 5v4 that without the mechanism, without the orb and wall, without the vac and wall, they had no chance. I mean, they were not going to win that fight, unfortunately. They just get caught out. So Keita, after all the really good execution, unfortunately copped quite a bit of a teamfight loss there. Maybe they can turn it around. I think Liquid are going to peel back because Lifestealer and Shadow Demon are almost back.
Yeah, this is not a fight they can take, and they know it. But so in that kind of position, they're wisening up a bit. Liquid realizing that they are stoppable. That they don't want to push in up against brick wall, and in that situation, they have to pick favorable engagements. And the way TC was pressuring Floxbox, he didn't get the kill, but he got enough damage in that when he TP'd down, as you said, to the tier 2 tower with half HP, suddenly they had a huge advantage, and they initiated very well with the Blink Brewmaster and the Primal Split. Following that up, they pretty much just had the team fight under wraps, and so we're able to just go in cleanup mode rather than actually duking it out back and forth.
Yeah, Bulba's been playing really well, and in fact, I would say that again, the mid is the critical role for Liquid in this game. It's just a different player on it.
Yeah.
Brewmaster 615, he got the quick blink, he's had every Thunderclap has been super duper duper on point. And oh no, Keita might get picked on again.
They had the Observer Ward. They go on in. The clap hits on everybody. The Hex does come on through, but Cizo's still in a rough spot trying to get the rum on. Yeah, he does get the boat to keep him alive for the moment. The Fiend's Grip. Oh, it interrupts Fluff. They get the vacuum in the wall. The mechanism comes out. They turn it around. Maglev doing work right now, feasting away on top of Bulba. The clap, he could care less. Keeps on going on through. He is going to be able to finish off the Brewmaster. Now looking for more. They go and see TC up on the top. He was able to clean up the Kunkka, but now on the run as the Sentry Wards have been placed.
Good response from Keita. I gotta say, the boat hitting Fluff was the luck-sackiest stuff right there.
That was ridiculous.
I'm not saying he didn't aim it, but like the very, very, very corner of the boat clipped Bane.
Exactly. It's that radius buff, man. Korok with a double damage rune, though, doing a lot of damage here. Gets hexed immediately, though. Friggly, I'm not sure if he has much ground to stand on. Should probably fall back from this position. They do have defensive disruption. Actually, they don't. I know you can magic wand it. Either way, Friggly, they might need to, because there's going to be a lot of damage coming on in. Holy crap, Friggly dropping down very, very low. But still will stay up at least for the moment. Korok looking for some Shadow Blade action, but just going on behind the tower and going right back on down. So now just going to be able to clean up the creep wave. How do you feel about Shadow Blade when you already have a Weaver?
I think it's fine, actually. I like Shadow Blade SF. I think it gives you damage, and the damage it gives you is very efficient since its recipe got changed.
Korok popping off the ulti. The Requiem does come out, but Floxbox tanking it up like a champion. Here's Bulba with a big clap and a big, even bigger Illuminate. Going on through. Cizo's the next target. They can bring him down quickly with an Earth Panda stun, locking him in place. They drop him down and looking for more. The Tornado on top of the Darkseer Surge. They're going to lock him in, and they're going to be able to bring him down as well. The stun not affecting that Earth Panda. They get the lockdown, and they bring down Floxbox as well. That's the team fight the Liquid were looking for to actually take some permanent advantages on the map here.
What a wild game this has been, Blaze. It was very, very sedate, almost to the point of being
Fiend's Grip locking down on Maglev. They get another one. Wow.
Yep. Nice Fiend's Grip.
Still not dead yet, though. Still Rage. He has the armlet. I actually think he'll get on out of this, which is kind of surprising considering how many people they were able to commit to him.
That was a sick impale from Friggleed, actually. It was all about that Earth Spike from him. Like, the ability to actually hit the Bane and somebody else at the same time. I think of Bulba. That was good. The problem is, I think this is Rax. I don't think they can defend this.
No. I mean, the boat is going to come on through in a few moments, and we have seen the boat work some miracles in the past few fights, but we'll have to see if this Ghost Ship really pays its fees. And we do actually see that it is, there is Demonic Purge coming out on Fluff and stuff. They're going to lock him in. They're going to go for this 5v5, but the question is, can they? Bulba gets a beautiful clap off again, and TC in the thick of things brings down Friggly, looking for Steph Style next, and they're going to be able to finish him off as well. Darkseer on the front lines, trying to finish off actually, it's Maglev. Iron Shield and Surged up, burning down so many with that beautiful, beautiful vacuum, but now caught in with that clap. Is not going to be able to actually stand and deliver. Has to fall back from here. Going to have to toggle the armlet perfectly, but pops off. Yeah, the armlet does come on through. The magic wand is still available. He needs to pop it if he wants to get out. Instead, the clap comes on through on Flox, and they're going to be able to bring him down very, very quickly. Maglev feasting away on Bulba, trying to finish off. Now onto TC. Will he be able to get it? No. So many different targets. He even gets a beautiful infest. He gets the kill onto Bulba. Moving on over to Fluff. They might be able to finish this off. The open one's not there yet, but the Hex is locking him down. They actually turn this around, not only defending their racks, but cleaning up almost everybody on Liquid. Two limping away. The carry Korok, and of course TC himself TPing back to base.
What is this game?
Oh my goodness, man. Like this, there were so many points of the game where I'm like, oh, well, you know, they're doing that. It's classic Team Liquid. They're moving forward. They're in a great spot, and they're just going to carry this to victory. And then suddenly, Keita, they start feeding it away. Keita starts playing team fights. I'm like, oh, well, Keita, I mean, Liquid just plays like this. They're going to have no problem cleaning this up because Liquid are just continuously underestimating them. And now it's like every other team fight is the exact same two sentiments, but back and forth alternatively.
Exactly. Oh, man. Maglev, by the way, the good composure, good staying in, even with as difficult as it is to be Lifestealer in this game. I would have loved to see Phase Boots, by the way, because he's just constantly slowed. The Thunderclap is always going on him, and Feeble is always going on him, and they're just massively making it so that he can't maneuver. So I would love to see more move speed. That said, he stayed in that fight, and by God, he was not leaving. And he ends up cleaning up quite a bit of Team Liquid's heroes. I still feel like this Shadow Fiend for Korok is just not doing very much. He does have a BKB now, which he just finished, which will help quite a bit. It's actually more of a finished item than really anybody's sporting on the other side. Keita's still trying to find those critical first huge items. Lifestealer, I would guess that this is going to be Cuirass, and he's about 1,000 gold away from the Cuirass, so still needs quite a bit. But Kunkka still doesn't have Shadow Blade, and that's really unfortunate.
We're looking for a big boat here. Oh, this is a great possibility. Bane took a few hits from his illusion. Might actually recognize that, but either way, the smoke is going to go on in. Flocks with a beautiful vacuum, beautiful wall. Where's that boat coming out through Korok? Gets a beautiful Requiem off, but immune by Maglev. They're almost going to bring down Ike's Mike. He does get the mechanism off, though, and the tornado does come on through, locking him up in the air. Now, Ike's Mike, they're trying to burn him down quickly, but it's taking quite a long time, and now Brewmaster turning around to bring down Step Style. The supports are dropping quickly, but where's the real damage at? 2 damage dealers down in the bottom lane. Not sure about that, but Maglev going down on top of Fluff and stuff, trying to finish him off here. He should be able to, but the Fiend's Grip comes out. Here comes Fox to cancel that thought with the vacuum going on through, focusing on Korok. He has that Shadow Blade. No, 8 seconds away. He's going to get dropped, I believe, but no, too much clap. He goes for the Infest to bring himself back on up, but he has to fall back. He just doesn't have the armlet toggles to really stay in the action here. Just really, really crazy engagements.
But Korok barely made it out of that fight, too. They would have loved to get Korok there. That would have been critical. But unfortunately, Maglev, honestly smart. Like, he went for the Infest. If he hadn't, he would have died. And actually, this has taken him really, really close to the Cuirass. He only needs, like, 200 more. Yeah. If that had been a better boat, Liquid would be, they would be done.
I didn't even see the boat. Where did it land?
It only hit IX Mike. That's literally the only person on Liquid's team that it actually landed on.
Okay. Yeah, that was...
it obviously gave them Rum, and Rum is... I'm really glad that you're highlighting it, because most people don't talk about it. But
no, it's so strong, dude.
It's insane. But they need these boats to be just a little bit... Because, frankly, Blaze, they're already winning the fights, but they could be winning them by a substantially large margin. All they're doing with these fights is delaying losing the game. If they take a fight bigger, like if they wipe all of Liquid, they can get Roche... They can start flipping the map control. They can reward, because keep in mind their vision right now isn't doing that great. They're going to go for Roche, but this is really... They smoked in, by the way, so Liquid don't know. But this is more like a desperation Roche, that if Liquid go on this, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. The nice thing is Liquid might not know.
Yeah, that's definitely... The control hasn't been obtained, really. Korok looking for like a single pickoff. He has all 36 Necromaster charges, so he could actually go for that Requiem, even though it is only rank 2. There was one thing I wanted to highlight on, actually, Korok walking right over a sentry where they know he's nearby. They're going to go and just try to finish off quickly, go for TPs. They get the Torrent, they lock him out. They're like, get out of dodge here, TP away. Everybody just beam me up, Scotty. Heads back to base.
I mean, I hate to sound... I know I sound biased, but, like, I do like cheering for the underdog. And after that game 1, which was just a slaughter, Keita are nothing if not the underdog. But frankly... Some nice, plucky play coming out from them this game, and really taking advantage of Liquid, who, shortly after I said they weren't making any mistakes, suddenly make like a panoply of mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. And, while you're rooting for the underdog, I'm just rooting for a great game, and in this situation, Keita really needed to step it up, and I'm so glad that they have. So, really, really bringing us an awesome match. Shadow Poison actually taking off the Blink Dagger, but one thing to note is Brewmaster has that Aghanims, so that is some very powerful pandas to work with here.
It's the microbrizz will be stronger. I really like this Aghanims. The longer that Bulba stays in micropanda form, the better shape they'll be in for these fights. Now his thunderclaps have actually been super on point, so he's no slouch in normal form either. But definitely that'll be strong. I really like the Lincolns on TC. Sometimes I feel like Weavers kind of reflexively go Lincolns when they don't need it, but in this game it's going to be excellent. He doesn't want to get purged. He doesn't want a lot of this sort of really bad stuff to happen to him, and the Lincolns is going to be very useful for that. Now, of course, they can pop it with Mana Burn. So what's it called? Mana Drain. So the Lion, if he's very careful and is close enough to TC, can get rid of that Lincoln Spear. So that's the other thing to look for.
Yeah, definitely. If you go for that combo, I mean, Mana Leak, rank 1... Or, sorry, Mana Drain, you're right, is just great for making sure that it's not limited. I mean, you don't see Lion as much, and you definitely... I mean, Mana Drain is a talking point in a game like 1 in 50 matches or something. Like, you never mention it, so it's not that big deal. Yeah, true. But, no, it's just like, okay, well, it's a great situation if he can get in range. The problem is, right now, Friggly is having trouble staying on the front line of things. If they get more detection down, it won't be as big of an issue, but they're really looking for some better flank maneuvers with those boats. If the boat was better, they wouldn't have lost their melee racks in that last fight, and it would have turned out completely differently. But, I mean, they're still trying. They're still going down swinging right now. The smoke is up. They're trying to go for some fights here, and as we mentioned, Maglev has been making some great plays, whether investing to keep himself alive, or he's done a couple of armlet toggles. One of them was in between Geminate attacks. Like, there were 2 Weaver right clicks coming out, and he was able to armlet toggle between them.
Will they catch TC here, is my question.
I think they can. They have... Wait, detection.
He spotted Frigolite for like a half second because he got desmoked. Oh, man. That would have been an important kill. The problem here is that they need to... Keita need to sort of go on the offensive, in my opinion. They're not behind by that much on levels, but they're behind by about... So 10k gold is basically 2 large-size items, and basically that boils down to the Aghanims and the Lincolns. Liquid have control of the map, so they're going to get more farm. And finally... Keita have 3 minutes on Aegis. There's no reason for Liquid to try to go in for the kill until the Aegis expires. Yep. Consequently, since you did pay a lot to get that Aegis, I feel like you have to use it. Keita are going to have to find a way to make a play. They tried to with that TC pickoff, but they just didn't quite find it. But I don't think they can get discouraged. I think they just have to go again.
Yeah. So there's a couple things I want to highlight on before the next fight ends up breaking out. Of course, they do have the Aegis, so that'll be a big factor coming on into it. But a couple of big items are coming out very, very shortly. For Team Liquid specifically. The 4-staff just came out for IX Mike, and the BKB just came out for, well, will be coming out for Bane in about 30 gold. And the reason I think those two are important individually is because I think they can actually just about guarantee a Lifestealer Fiend's Grip based on this. What they can do is put down the Fiend's Grip. Or actually, no, the timing is weird. But anyways, pretty much, if the boat is coming, you can force that Fluff and stuff to a good position where he can avoid it, and then immediately pop the BKB and pop off the Fiend's Grip on towards the Lifestealer. Because the only thing that can interrupt it right now is that Ghost Ship, which miraculously has hit Fluff most team fights, but nevertheless is something that if they can just avoid that in slight amounts, they can actually get a full maximum duration Fiend's Grip on Lifestealer, and he is their heavy hitter. The Salkaros Aura will still be a big factor, but... Kunkka alone is going to have a hard time dealing with this, especially now that the Mask of Madness has been picked up on Shadow Fiend. It's a difficult item. It's there's a lot of good things about it, a lot of bad things about it, but one thing you have to guarantee 100% confirm is that it's great for attack speed, and right now that's what Shadow Fiend's extremely happy to have. So once his BKB 9 seconds comes out, he's going to be able to deliver so much physical damage, it's ridiculous.
I like the Mask of Madness, honestly, on Korok here. He hasn't been enough of a factor, in my opinion. That's because he's just not really dealing that much damage. He's surviving, but you almost don't care. I mean, obviously, it's very, very important for Shadow Fiend to survive. He has to keep those Necromastery stacks, blah, 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 blah. But it would be nice for Liquid if they could just win a fight outright, and I think the Mask of Madness is going to help them do that. Just because, in addition to the great lockdown being provided by Brewmaster and Bane, they can also sort of follow that up with enough damage.
Sure. Question for you. Darkseer has a Scythe of Ice. We're actually going to see some counter-initiation on mid, and they do have Infested inside Kunkka going on through that. Oh, the Fiend's Grip does come out. They're going to try to right-click him down very, very quickly. He does pop off the BKB, but that's not going to stop the physical damage. Either way, the Wall Replica completely wasted here, and they might not even finish off on Fluff. He's going to TP away, and they're not stopping him.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Bad. No way to put that except not what they wanted at all.
No.
Fluff gets the Fiend's Grip, kills off Saizo again. Wait, did he not die?
No, there was no kill. He
didn't die. But still, Fluff making it out, TC making it out, they really wanted at least one of them. And the Infest he has it again, so...
Yeah, going on through Shadow. Well, they get the Scythe. They get the Scythe onto Korok here, and he should be bursted by the time the BKB is relevant. They actually got this here with the vacuum pulling him right back on in.
Liquid! They need... Oh man, they need to put a ward in this jungle if they're going to push down this lane.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
Especially if they're going to put Korok there. Korok, 4 of these 5 deaths are unnecessary. I'm sorry.
It's true. It's honestly true, 100%. He does not need to be dropping down this many times, and now he's going to have to put some time into the jungle and invest in getting more charges from killing creeps. Like, right now, he's got his Crystallis. He's pretty good on items to push forward for another big team fight, but as far as his souls, he wants to get that big Requiem off in the middle of it. It's still very, very worth it to push that R-key in the middle of a fight. So, if he can max out his souls, Shadow Blade in, pop his BKB, Requiem, and that's when the Mask of Madness comes out, because they're already slowed by move speed, and if I remember correctly, attack speed as well. Either way, he's going to be able to dish out a ton of damage right on then and just deliver a world of hurt. So that's obviously what he needs to accomplish, but these pickoffs, just over and over and over, he doesn't want to commit his BKB, I understand that, but in that kind of position, it's just so darn difficult to keep on feeding the way Shadow Fiend and hope to maintain momentum.
The thing about Liquid is that even with the mistakes that they're making, they still have a lane of racks, so that gives you a persistent advantage for the rest of the game. And, you can't actually underestimate that, because what you're going to see is that this gold graph, even if Liquid do nothing is going to slowly tilt their way because they will be able to outfarm. There's one lane here that for the rest of the game is worth less to Keita than it is to Liquid, period. Plus it's harder to push down it, which normally mid is the lane that you most easily want to push down because it's sort of, it's in the middle. But it's going to be tough for them to actually do that. Now,
oh, Korok again. Please no. Please no, Korok. There's Invisible,
no.
There's the Scythe, there's the Infest, there's so much damage and he won't get out! Oh! That was such a good Invis rune pick for the Darkseer.
Fluff almost got there for the
Fiends.
Grip,
oh,
shit. Making it out. I don't know, man.
Yeah, that was just too good. He got the Invis rune pick, he surged immediately during the Fade time, and he was in there with a Lifestealer inside. Man, that was just such a fortuitous pick for them, and of course the fact that Fluff couldn't respond in time, that's big.
Korok is still finding the farm, but it's giving farm away as well. I mean, Keita, I still feel like they need to make a little more happen. Maybe they're waiting for Roshan. They could get another Aegis up. That would help. But I still feel like it's going to be tough, especially if Liquid decide to, stop playing games and push in again. It'll be a tough defense unless the perfect boat comes down. And we talk about the boat a lot, but it's a big deal. It's their main big teamfight equalizer.
Most definitely. So I meant to ask the question a little bit previously, but to be going different, the teams go different directions. The smoke is up, but it'll take some time to actually take effect. I want to ask the question, there is a Scythe of Ice on the Darkseer. Who in the next team fight would you prioritize if you were the Darkseer and deciding who to Scythe?
Weaver, if you know 100% the Linken's is down. Okay. If you Scythe a Weaver and all it does is pop Linken's, you've lost the fight.
Of course. Korok, actually, what? Oh, the Geometry Scythe seeing out Korok. Oh, no, the Mask of Madness and Shadowblade providing enough movement speed, and he will be recalled forward, but he's on such low life that I'm not sure he'll be able to do much more than continue farming to lifesteal up.
They're really putting the fear of God into Liquid this game, right? Like don't mess with us. Don't put that Shadow Fiend in places where we can kill him or give him an X guard. I like what Liquid are doing here, constricting the possible farm area for Keita even more, like making sure that they can't use these Ancients to try to catch up. And Roche is very close. Yeah. Control of this next Roshan, I think, could be very consequential.
I gotta say, it must feel like a pretty boring game to some of the individuals that haven't been able to accomplish too much. Like for Bulba on Team Liquid, like he hasn't been able to do anything fun in like the past 15 minutes because all these little tiny picks delaying the game longer and longer where they can't go as 5. So it's gotta be feeling pretty bad for an individual that just has been roaming around, farming a couple creeps here and there. But I just saw him Drunken Haze a tiny creep that was gonna die in 2 seconds. I'm just thinking, what's going through this guy's heads right now? He's just running around in circles all game long.
Yeah, absolutely, Blaze. And I don't know. The Roshan, I think, will be the site of the...
Yeah, finally something will break out.
Even decisive. If TL win the big Roche fight, I think it's over. Maybe not, but it'll give them a very, very substantial advantage and possibly another set of Rex. What's our buyback status? Whoa! Not a whole lot.
Not much at all.
Everybody's really close. Like, Shadow Fiend is within, like, a little bit of gold. Weaver is very, very, very close. Actually, this TC is getting... Helm of the Dom Weaver is not something you see every day, but it does give him that lifesteal. And he doesn't get the lifesteal from the second Geminate, I think.
No, he shouldn't. He shouldn't.
Still. And it's interesting. He's built 2 items you don't that commonly see on Weaver, because the Geminate Strike doesn't get the crit, nor does it get the Helm of Dom lifesteal. But still, this Weaver is putting out a lot of damage, and I think they realize that since Korok really isn't putting out the damage, somebody has to. It's not going to be Brewmaster. Brewmaster's a disabler. I
like both the pickups, honestly. Yes, it doesn't propagate to Geminate, but Geminate is a bonus attack every 2.5 seconds. The thing it only scales on is attack damage, and he's going to get that one way or another. But in this situation, the Day Dallas still provides in plus 81 damage. The Helm of Dominator provides plus 20. So they're making it work, and the fact is he's getting tankier and tankier with that lifesteal. So if he goes for like a Satanics and Scotty or something along those lines, he's actually going to be able to dish out a ton of damage and take it in turn, and he's kind of going for more of a late game oriented build.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know, Blaze. I still feel like even as behind as Keita still are, and they're behind, make no mistake about it, their levels are more or less even. Like, they're down 2,500 XP, which really comes out in the wash at 38
Keita, by the way.
What's up?
Great positioning for Keita right now.
Yeah. TL have no idea. The only problem is, even if they get... I still feel like the engagement angle from here is awkward if the fight comes out, like, right here. It's going to be tricky. I still feel like both teams would rather sort of just get the Roshan, then they'd feel much better.
Exactly. But I think it would be a mistake for either one to go into the pit right now. Both of them are in such a bad spot, especially against like Liquid going up against the Darkseer wall and the boat. That is just so darn powerful.
Are you check the stream real quick, please? People on Twitch chat are saying it went black.
It looks, I mean, 100% fine. Yeah, I'm not dropping any frames, but hopefully we get more feedback on that in the near future.
Yeah.
Just it is a 2-minute delay, but double check and let me know the stream is or is not working in Twitch chat. This very second would be very helpful.
Right.
Anyways, we'll proceed as normal until we actually are confirmed.
Yes, because important stuff is happening.
Most
Korok
definitely.
is in the pit.
That is what he's been looking for all game long. He has a 9-second BKB, so he can make this work very nicely, and Bulba on the front line is going to tank this up nicely. Didn't actually know Mana Leak stunned out Roche, so learn something new every day, but now the engagement is coming on through. This is their timing. They need to go in. They get the vision with the Shadow Poison. There is a big Illuminate hitting on everybody here, but they vacuum out Bulba outside the pit, kind of wasting that cooldown a little bit because he just pops off the Primal Split. Friggly going to drop quickly, drops off that ultimate onto TC, but nevertheless, only the Hex to come on through. Maglev. Fiend's gripped up, and they just right-click him on down. He's still alive, though. Still kicking. Bulba gets a kill, though, and he finishes off another one. They just obliterated this team fight. Darkseer to fall next, and Kunkka on the run. There was just pretty much nothing else to say about that one.
I think that's it. Keita, they waited a little long. They didn't quite get the coordination.
No, they needed a big Wombo combo.
From Fluff. I mean, really, that finally came together for Liquid. It's been a while since they had such a good fight, but that was the fight that they needed. The vacuum did not get Korok because, and this is really freaking smart, he popped his BKB as Roche was dying to ensure that he was not vacked out of the pit. Really super duper smart, Blaze, because otherwise you could have had an Aegis steal. And as a result, Korok still has his Aegis.
Maglev going on in. Going on Korok here. He actually could get dropped down quickly, but no, he will be able to... Oh, no, they do pop off the Aegis here. They bring him down very, very quickly. A couple big right clicks there, and they lock down the boat on Ike's Mike. Crashing out over his head. They're actually going to be able to take that away. And without the Fiend's Grip, Fluff and stuff, he really doesn't have much to offer to anything as well. So they're bringing this down very, very quickly. And TC, the last man standing. Bulba wants to try to jump in to help things out. If he can get this clap off on Maglev, they might be able to make something happen here. But now just going in on Steph style, we'll get a quick right click on him. And TC's still in the action. Going down, they focus it. Korok, life stealing away. That Mask of Madness, he's playing with fire. He's going to get burned, but no. Brings it down. The mechanism comes out. He stays alive. The Korok's like uber mad mode. Fuck it. 200 HP. 30% damage application received. Don't care. Right-clicking away. There comes CISO, jumping back on in. The buyback did help him get a revenge kill, but nevertheless, the racks are falling. A good game well played comes out.
Well, Team Liquid fans, you were probably really mad about Korok for that entire game, but right there in the end, you can't deny it. Korok just won them it. It would not have ended if it wasn't for that re-entry of the Shadow Fiend. Nice
action there. That was really fun. But, yeah, Tier 4 will fall off the Ancient subsequently after, and that's going to be it for this series here. Great way to end it. It was a little, there was a pretty big dry spell there. Both of them kind of playing cat and mouse over the Roche, but in the end, we do see Liquid take it here. 2-0 victory over Keita, so they will move on to the winner's bracket. Keita will be seen in the loser's bracket up against either EG or Fnatic North America, whichever one does drop down there. And we'll be seeing what comes up next. And this is part of Group Stage D for WePlay. Their Dota 2 Cup there as Stage 2. And we'll be seeing who of these 4 teams, 2 will advance, 2 will be eliminated. And we still have a couple matches left to decide exactly which teams that will be. But nevertheless, thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's been very fun to cast it for you guys. And although Game 1 was very, very one-sided, Game 2, they certainly put a show on for us.
They did, certainly. And shout-outs to, I gotta say, of TL... Boba and even TC had just such a solid game. Like, Boba in particular was always on point with just about everything that I used. And it just didn't quite come together other than that. And absolutely shoutouts to Keita, who, I mean, a lot of people I think expected 2 straight stomps, and especially after the weird lanes that they went with in Game 2. But they pulled it together, and their 5v5 engagements were absolutely fantastic. I wish that the boats had been a little more on point, but that's about it. Plox had a fantastic game on Darkseer, and Maglev very, very ballsy in all those engagements as Lifestealer. And they made a game of it where, by all rights, a lot of people would say that there was no chance.
Yeah. In that sense, yeah, it wasn't... I'm not saying that I hated the boats. I just say that they 100% needed better boats. If they wanted to win the game, they needed to get some big ones off. And they got a couple of solid ones, but they could have gotten some amazing high potential ones. But it's hard because that hero is such a pocket pick that you're not going to be practicing it very frequently, and in that situation, under such intensity, everything's going back and forth, tons of people yelling out in voice, and trying to coordinate and find the perfect opportunity. It's really, really difficult to actually commit to a very, very solid Ghost Ship. So either way,
Sure.
it didn't work out in this situation, but maybe they can work on it a little bit. Flox and Cizo, coordinating it up so they can back into some really, really cool combos for games in the future. Either way, for right now, Team Liquid takes it away, and we'll have to see who they're going to be going up against for their next best of 3 series, which will be coming up as actually I think they have a scheduled time. Let's see, right now we started out at 11, at least my time, and now it is at 1 o'clock, so it could be scheduled as far as an hour later, but I'll have to double check and figure it out.
If EG Fnatic finish soon, typically in this tournament, I think they move it up just to get through the games.
Yeah, that's probably the best
another
course
best of 3.
I don't want to be taking another 10-hour day. Yesterday was 3 best of 3s in a row. All 3 of them went to game 3. So literally 10 hours of Dota casting for me. I'd rather drop it down a little bit, but nevertheless, fun games, and we'll see exactly. Well, I'll let you guys know on the stream when we have more information about when the game will be. But right now, you guys can check out on twitch.tv/BeyondTheSummit the game between Fnatic North America and EG, presuming that's still ongoing, which I believe is the case. Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been Blaze and Vikromont. If you want to check out Vikromont, he's at multiple different things. He has a Twitch, he has a Twitter, he has his own website. It's all VYKROMOND. It's Vikromond, and then for myself, I'm Blaze. You can check me out at Twitter.com/BlazeCasting. So that's if you want to follow us there or whatever. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Either way, we'll catch you guys on the next match.
Nah.